Welcome to some mid-ELO casting. We've got some players who you've probably never heard of before. I know I've never heard of them. Playing at mid-ELO Age of Empires 2. 1200's fairly solid. They've got their strats down, their build orders, but maybe the execution isn't quite there. In the blue, we have Kirchhoff, who I'm going to assume is maybe in Latin American community. Combi is a clan I know. I think a lot of like Mexican players are on that clan, so maybe some good friends with my buddy Kingston at the higher ELO. Again, we've got Kirchhoff playing as the Koreans in the blue. And then I Googled this name, and I don't think this is anyone that has been, known for anything in history. We have William Fletcher Montgomery III. And the name is so long, we only see Fletcher Montgomery III, so just don't want any confusion there. It is William Montgomery playing as the Incas. Again, I just searched for this, and the fourth result was awe2insights.com, which can show us some information on player profiles, so maybe that's this person's name. I don't know. No clue what to expect in this match. As they came in here on Mega Random, I'm sure expecting the unexpected. You've got a pond towards the south, which only has 4 deep fish, and then you've got 5 deep fish. Oh, no, 4. Oh, yeah, 4 in the north as well. So, yes, docking would be good, but it's going to be awfully hard to scout that. Plus, they're not seeing anything in the corner. So I would just assume that maybe we won't see it. There's golden stone everywhere. There's wood, but there's a large opening, like a freaking battlefield in the middle. And this reminds me of the scenarios I used to make when I was a kid. I would have like big bases, and then I would have a battlefield. And I would just charge in towards the AI, and if the AI was about to beat me, I would just remake the scenario so I would easily win. I did that. And then actually, the other thing I would do, and this is what I did more frequently, is I would make my base up on a hill with 1,000,000 towers and castles and whatever else. And then I would just make the enemy AI send in thousands of units in waves. And I would basically just sit there. Like, I wouldn't really control my military that much. I would just have more stuff than them, and then my fortifications would chew them up. And you guys know the AI. Like, the AI is pretty stupid, so they just run into their deaths. Anyways, that's what this reminded me of. I don't know if anyone else had similar experiences. Yeah, Koreans, Incas. Well, I think the Koreans have a pretty crazy death ball. Neither Civ is super mobile, unless the Eagle Warriors come out later on from the Incas. I'd say the good thing for the Koreans here is that the Incas probably open with archers, or at least man-at-arm archer. That's more common. And Koreans are pretty good against something like that, because Koreans do get the armor upgrade on their ranged units for free in each age. If you want to be a pest and go for lots of towers, castle drops, whatever, Koreans are also a really good go-to. But Incas are known for having counters for virtually anything that comes their way, regardless of the civ. So I would say I prefer the Inca civilization. Very impressed with the build orders so far from Blue. Obviously, it's had some small hiccups here, not creating villagers, and that's not good. But I've been impressed with what I've seen so far. Also, similar thing for Yellow, too. I mean, Yellow's had better execution, and Yellow is scouted very well. That's the most impressive thing for me. So, does see that maybe a wall off here is possible. I would love to see a wall here, or maybe here. No! It was perfect! Fletcher Montgomery. Oh. Why? Okay, so I can tell you why this is happening. So, it is important to make buildings as part of your walls. But, this is in the back corner of your base. So, I would prefer that maybe that be built in the front. But, okay, let's see. Maybe the barracks isn't going to be used. Trying to click up to feudal, trying to click up to feudal, trying to click up to feudal. Still hasn't clicked up to feudal, trying to drop off with the feudal, trying to go feudal, and there we have feudal. All right, meanwhile, Yellow just passing through Blue's base. Didn't exactly see the TC. We have Blue going for a second lumber camp. Blue also walling. And walling quite well, I would say. It's an intelligent wall. Blue scouts scouted nothing from the enemy just yet, and blue still hasn't clicked up, which does make me think blue is going to try a fast castle here, which is obviously going to take some doing here because you'd have to full wall your base if your opponent goes for army. We have 4 on gold from yellow and is now walling, and I can definitively say that yellow has had a really solid Dark Age, but yellow doesn't have the proper build order to be able to open with archers efficiently. It's not awful. The wood's going to be there for the range. The gold's going to be there for the archers. Oh my god, a second barracks? Or did yellow forget about the first barracks? Because it's in the position it shouldn't be. Well, no, it might be eagles. That might be the strat. Let's see. Any eagles? Eagles take 60 seconds to produce in Feudal Age. Look at blue. Blue's like, hey, here I am at the enemy base. Okay. All right. He's going to loop around. It is eagles. Interesting. Okay. Well, now this doesn't look quite as questionable. It would have looked bad if he made the range then. Interesting strategy here, yellow. Not producing any eagles out of the other barracks yet, which is sad. Meanwhile, blue is going for the Great Wall of Korea and has the scout underneath the TC and will lose the scout. Yellow's eagle has only seen walls, and blue will actually be fully walled. As for what blue is going to do, I'm not too sure yet. There's no barracks, so I think it's going to be Blacksmith Market. Which means yellow will, be able to apply some pressure here. But again, eagle... I think the eagle's trapped. Oh, God. This is the AoE gods telling you that you should not make a barracks in the back of your base, okay? Obviously, this sucks. Also, it's very possible the next one will get trapped in there as well. Please, 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 no. Please, no. Woo! Okay. That happens, man. If you make a building next to a wood line that has an opening and you set the gather point a certain direction, they'll try and go that way, and they're stuck, so you'd have to delete the barracks to save that eagle. But yeah, eagle rush is just very slow, right? Like, that's the downside of it. I still don't see blue being on stone or anything, but blue's fast castle, very impressive. Greedy, and will have to be creative to defend from this, but impressive. At 1200, wasn't expecting it to be quite this clean. Now, of course, clean off of 1 minute of TC idle time, but yellow's also got some TC idle time. And look up, blue realizes I can use 2 villagers to fight this off, I think. Actually, I can't see that guy's HP. Yeah, there you go. 2 villagers to fight it off, and then you could just house wall behind, and he's completely fine. And now is going to stone. Yo, let's go. So, noob question, what's the common play with Incas? Get them on rank the other day and was pretty flustered. Well, the thing about Incas is you can do pretty much everything. So, if you want to play them like Aztecs and go all in Eagles, Spearman, Monk, you can do that. If you want to play them like Mayans and play into Archers, you can do that. I don't mind Eagle builds in the long term, but it does, as I said, it takes so long to be able to produce that first eagle out of your barracks that generally, like, this is kind of what counters it, like just walling. So I would suggest if I had to give you a strategy, I would say probably go into something like Archers and then adapt. Archers adapt is probably the best way to play it. Is this mega random? It's actually 4 lakes, but only 2 lakes generated because of global warming. So it's an interesting map gen for sure, but the devs are going to have to fix it and maybe make the map a little less realistic. I'm so excited to see how this game plays out. Blue's a little worried. It was smart from yellow. Yellow has the eagles now. So yellow figured he could attack this wall, and that would be his best chance of the enemy not being able to wall behind it. This is mega random, by the way. You can see it next to the minimap, possibly. But okay, it wouldn't be too bad for yellow if yellow just goes up to the next stage. keeps the eagle mass alive, and then suddenly the eagles are producing faster, so you can have more for the map. But I would be concerned if I were yellow that blue is on that stone. Blue has been really calculated with the greed here, too. Like, realizes I might not need the castle right away, so I can get an eco lead and have the second town center. So, guys, this is why a lot of people are like, man, this is really strong from blue. Like, why walls are so OP, right? This is why you see a lot of man-at-arm archer, or why you see a lot of archer play, because you can punish walls. If you had archers with melee units attacking the walls, suddenly villagers can't just wall behind like it's nothing. Even if it's not your long-term play, having some archers can help set up whatever strategy you want to go for. Third TC. Now, I'm not sure I'm a big fan of this. A rule of thumb you want to shoot for, guys, is you want to have 6 farms per TC to create villagers. Now, that doesn't mean if you're floating a lot of food, you can't add the second or third town center before you have that count. But that's what you need to aim for. There's only, like, so much on food right now. And blue is trying to catch up with the farms, but I think you do want to have map control and you do want to have military. So I personally would have preferred to see the castle here. So far, there's been 1 kill, 1 death. We have yellow with the trapped eagle still being given commands, I believe. I think he's in the control group with the other eagles being told to do stuff. Great farming eco from yellow. The economy is very smooth here. And you could do a lot of different things if you're in yellow's position. If I thought I was up against wagons, I would definitely want to have a monastery. I would start to get relics, and then I would have the monks to help out with the wagons later on. But it's just all in eagles for yellow. Just continuous spam. And if it's going to be all in eagles, we'll see if blue's going to have something to deal with that. Blue will gain the Vil lead now. I don't know what on earth is being talked about in chat right now. Played my 4th ranked game and I had to rebind pause. Really? Do you press F3 for different things, like for different hotkeys? If so, I could understand that. All right, so there's a castle. And yellow's uptime's not bad, but unfortunately did no damage and invested a lot. These things will get a lot stronger in Castle Age right now. And blue might misjudge this because the extra attack just came in and there's a hole. No way. No way, quick wall. Oh, yellow's like, thank God. Finally, I can get some damage in with these things. Let's go. Nice job from blue, though. Very nice job. And the TCs are here. But I mean, I'd prefer to be in my opponent's base than not if I were yellow. So yellow's going to be happy to be able to be annoying here. And, okay, a little house wall there from blue. All right. Let's see if blue makes some wagons. At home, yellow. Getting upgrades, dropping the second town center now. And I really like the way the eco's shaping up for yellow. Lots of farming eco. But I'm loving the way the eco's shaping up for blue as well. And blue's now making wagons. These villagers, however, are trapped. And it's safe to say that the 3 TC play has paid off. Now you have to build up towards something. But I think wagons is one of your best option with the Koreans. It's a very tanky unit, very tough to stop. Love to see the fletching upgrade here from blue. And we'll garrison the TC. Yellow's going to get a Vil pick there. And yellow's going to run around. But honestly, the longer you stay in your opponent's base, if you're in yellow shoes, the more you can do with map control. So I like the idea, and I like the decision to stick around here. Tries for some Vil picks. Blue forced to garrison and multiple TCs. Lots of idle time. That's adding up for him now. And more villagers being attacked, but the wagons are tanky. They're not being microed, though. But I guess with some TC fire, with the wagon damage, eventually the eagles are going to go down. This is yellow saying, well, I'm sick of focusing on this now, so let's just fight. But it's tough. Like, he's committed to Eagles now. He's going to get even more attack, but those wagons could arguably just get stronger as they mass more. So, Greens are sick, man. Hey, T90, are you casting Red Bull? I will be casting Red Bull. I won't be casting any of the qualifier, if that's what you're asking, but I will be casting the main event. I have 2 rare weekends off coming up after like a full month of TTL, or a month and a half of TTL. Spending some precious time with friends before a busy couple months after that. I'm really wondering the data on how frequently we see both of these strategies. Fast Castle into Boom, but also straight Eagle opening. I feel like straight Eagle opening works quite well. I think it would work better on Arabia, possibly. I still don't think it's a great strategy, but I do think... I mean, if there's one hole, it can end games, and I think at 1200 ELO, that probably happens enough where it's worth it. No relics collected just yet. Would love to see that from yellow. It's a bit harder for blue to justify because eagles could be spreading out. But yeah, the eco for Kirchhoff is insane. Also, building outposts, towards the center is really smart. Now Bod can arrow for yellow, so yellow's clearly thinking about switching into some skirms, possibly. There's a chance here, guys, that blue will go for a forward castle at yellow's base. Army mass is pretty high. He's making outposts in a line towards the center. Oh, blue or yellow, where are you going? Man, if ballistics was in, all these eagles would be dead. Not near the castle fire, yellow. Not near the castle fire. Okay, this might be blue's time. Maybe an invitation for blue. Could also just make a second castle to protect some gold here because you're a little light on gold. Blue understands Koreans. Also getting town patrol. Let's go. Yellow will drop a castle at home now, and yellow is indeed clicking lead skirm. I have a lot of people ask me what map this is. There's this very weird bug, and for some reason it continues to occur after years and years of me making content. And if you can't see the map name and you're curious on what that is, all you have to do, it's a very simple process, okay? You have to call 1-800-T90 Farms. You have to put in an order for 16,000 Lowy the Legend t-shirts. Then sell all of those t-shirts for $150 a pop on the street of your choice, anywhere around the world, that's fine. Then come back to me, give me all the profits, and then I will disperse all that money towards salmon distributors and buy all the salmon in the nearby area so I can eat it, okay? And once that happens, and only once that happens, you just have to look at the MIDI map, and it says exactly what map it is. But if it's not showing, you got to do all those things, okay? Yeah, but I think he got husbandry all the way already, sorry. So he knew about that. Second castle's coming up. And God, wagons are so strong, man. So a lot of people are going to say, well, what do you do against wagons? And the answer is you get ahead before they get to them. That's the sad part about it. And this is why yellow strategy did not make sense at all in this game. Blue is able to go to 3 TCs with no army. You just simply have to punish that. And I guess we're going to see even another castle for blue. Dang. Also saw the light cab upgrade, so there's a chance that maybe he's thinking his opponent will have a lot of skirms. Skirms are your best option against the wagons. The problem is wagons are still a really tanky unit and are actually really good against skirms. Especially if they're an imp faster than you, you're going to have problems. Accidentally ordered 69,000 Lowy the Legend t-shirts. Will it work for me too? No, it has to be the exact number I mentioned. I forget what that is. But like, it's very, like, this game, not like this match, but Age of Empires 2 is a game of time windows. And Koreans have no eco bonus to work off of. And wagons are created out of a castle and take a lot of time. Also, yellow has skirmishers trapped now. This is the theme for yellow. So you cannot just look at this and say Civ win, War Wagons OP if you start to die to War Wagons. When in Dark Age, you applied no pressure. In Feudal Age, you applied no pressure. And then in Castle Age, you didn't apply enough pressure. The game doesn't necessarily work like that, right? So it's really tricky. And this is not to say that yellow can't win this game, by the way. Blue's going to go Hussar. I love it, but... because it's like good against skirms, but Korean Hussars are really bad. Also doesn't have any armor upgrades yet. Here we go. And let's see what these things do. They're going to run away. In my opinion, it's terrible when the counter to a unit is to outplay the opponent before they build said unit. Well, then you should probably play a different game, to be honest. Because it's the same, it's like the similar logic with anything. It's like, how do you beat this Civ, or how do you beat... It's not even just like a unit thing. I understand what you're saying, and maybe my response was a little what's the word? My response was a little much, but I think it's a lot about Age of Empires plays out, right? But I agree that there are certain units, like, oh god, yellow. There are certain units where that's more of a conversation. And it can be more of a balance problem, like the wagons and conquistadors, right? But yeah, that's how the whole game flow works in most cases. All right. Well, I don't see a world where yellow has any chance right now. He's got 30 skirms. Is getting the upgrades on skirms. And yes, Korean Cav. I think Korean Hussars are the worst in the game, right? But Blue knew his opponent would rely on skirmishers. And so Blue's going to run out here with these Hussars any moment. And I think even kind of sucky Hussars should be enough to push back the skirms temporarily. And then whatever else is going to be mixed in, the wagons could deal with. Ooh, there was a rematch. Wait, Mateus, where did you watch that? Was it like a ranked game? Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're talking about the YouTube video. Oh, yeah, of course, dude. That game was so good. I didn't realize I hit YouTube today. I thought you were watching a ranked game or something. Okay, so in some ways, the positioning for yellow wasn't bad because the Hussars weren't around his skirms right away. But the wagon army is 3,000 HP. And there will be more Hussars on the way. And like we expected, the Hussars were going to be the ticket. Good thinking from Blue. Clearly, Blue's experienced. Blue thinks, what is my opponent going to make to counter me? Let's make the counter to that counter. They got ahead with the boom and got ahead with the wagons and then stayed one step ahead by expecting the expected. Now has some trebs and will possibly go in for the kill here. The Hussars are still really, really bad, though. So if it was Elite Eagle with skirms, maybe I start to like Yellow's position a little bit more. Yellow's going to try and go pikes, though, and is going to start to lose some of these buildings, and things could start to unravel from here. Yeah, Miguel, glad I could do it. Love Blue's production buildings in this game. I think the one thing that Blue could use in this position when you push like this is a forward castle. And you can even be a lot more bold with it, right? Like, you know Yellow has a castle there. Drop your castle here, and then your trebs immediately go on their castle. But the patient play is also... Now, if you're not 100% certain you're going to be able to win the next fight, which I wouldn't expect Blue to necessarily know, the patient play is not necessarily the end of the world either. Because you might not want to overextend, right? Okay, couple eagles that are about to be elite eagles will go down. And here comes Blue now. So Blue has that idea. Elite eagles in. There's only 17 wagons. Yellow's done a pretty solid job economically, too. Actually has a 20 villager lead. But the skirmishers are still going down. Castle's still going to end up going down. And this just becomes more and more of a problem, especially because Blue is now getting chemistry, which was missing, and also, importantly, adding more wagons. Does anyone remember how much it cost to get the unique tech for the Incas, by the way? You would want to get that for a bit more armor for your eagles. Yep, yellow realizing that this position is pretty much going to end the game, but drops a castle in a really bad spot because the trebs are still there. And even though yellow has more villagers, blue's going to win this game because of the greedy play early on. That's crazy. Yep, and you could just follow this up with the next castle too, blue. Just build the next castle right next to your wagons and keep on pushing. T90, big noob question. What do you do when you're going knights as Magyars and your opponent goes spears? Your best bet is to switch into cav archers. But I would also encourage you to not necessarily give up on the knights and try and use your mobility a bit because they're going to have to chase you. That would be 2 tips for you there, because I think a lot of players just kind of give up on making knights. You can still make knights, and you could also, depending on the situation, mix in scorpions. But like, it's a lot cheaper to go for scorpions because you just need the siege workshop and then a couple units. Whereas with with cav archers, you need to go for archer ranges. You need blacksmith upgrades, all those things you don't need for scorpions. Yep, hussars, wagons, trebs continue to push in. Yellow getting a bit of a raid in, which is very nice. Yellow actually has the population lead, and the production's still decent. But is losing so much ground. This is why I would like to see blue. Blue, Blue, I don't think you need more stables. You have 15. I'd like to see blue just continue to follow it up with more castles. There's a chance, though, these 2 eagles, if they can stay away from castle fire, they could slowly pick off all that farming eco. Man, what a good game. Yellow calls the GG. Yellow feels like there's no answer. And yeah, that is a case of a player going for a strategy which just matches up poorly against the opponent's strategy. But I don't think that there was any part of yellow's strategy that necessarily would have been great against the Koreans in the long run. Unless you're thinking the guy's going to go straight archers, I guess. And that's always a possibility for Koreans, which is tricky. But I think, as I already stated, I think playing into that build order, it allows too much time for the opponent to do what they want to do. Or it depends on your opponent having walls. Now, eagles would probably be like really snowbally if they produce faster, but I'm glad they don't. They should produce as slow as they do in Feudal Age. To go fast Feudal into a unit that takes 60 seconds to produce is just simply good. It takes too much time. If you have any questions about this game, feel free to ask, but I think blue played it perfectly. Like yellow, I mean, part of what I said is true, but blue honestly played like a beast. Opening Hussar was really smart. Like, that actually felt more... Well, I forget the ELO of the Scandinavia game now, but that felt higher ELO than the Scandinavia game we did, which I think was like 1,300. That was impressive.